got a
My
student?
not on.
You're so busted.
I think the
Make her get up there and talk.
lights are on.
Okay.
I don't know.
Usually there's a.
Okay, I don't know.
Been recording us? All right.
I don't know, but we're gonna be short and sweet.
Hello, hello.
Yeah. I'll second that.
got places.
That a motion?
I got places to go, people to see.
I'd like to call the meeting to order this evening. And before we say the prayer this evening, I would just like to remember our administrator, John Gokenauer's father, who passed away, so he's not able to be here this evening with us. So during the prayer, if you just keep that family in your thoughts and prayers. And Mrs. Bruno, would you like to say the prayer?
Loving God, as we come together tonight for the city of Waterville, we pause to ask you to be with us and guide our way. May your spirit of peace surround all we say and do this evening. We ask for your strength to do what is best for the good of Waterville. Lord God, as servants of your people, we pray that you grant us a share of your wisdom. Amen.
Rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Here?
Here.
Here.
Here?
Here.
Here.
Thank you. We need a motion to excuse Mr. Fry.
So moved.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Pedro.
Mr. Pedro. We'll announce it. All right. All in favor said aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All righty, next we have our approval of minutes. It's our regular council meeting, September 23rd, 2019. We need a motion.
So moved.
Second?
Are there any changes or corrections or comments to the minutes? No. Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And I'll abstain, I wasn't here. Next, I have citizens' comments, and I have a couple. First, I have Merle Wilhelm. Hi there, and if you wouldn't mind at the podium, state your name and address for us, for the record.
Hi, my name's Merle Wilhelm. I live at 117 South River Road, Waterville, Ohio. And I'm here representing the residents of River Road. Riverside, upstream from the bridge. Our concerns are that coffer dam, what I understand, that ODOT is not going to remove it until next year, until after the old bridge is torn down. And we are concerned about the cold weather and the ice, that all the ice from the ice flows are going to back up on that dam, causing a backup in floodwaters to all our properties along the river. One question we have is, who's going to pay for our property damage and our basements flooded? When that happens, and it probably will happen because of the dam. The flow will continue on the Wood County side of the river, but it will probably back up on the Waterville side before it even goes around the island. And is that going to be FEMA's responsibility? Is that going to be ODOT's responsibility? If we make a FEMA claim, our rates are going to go up astronomically, which we don't want. Who has more power, ODOT or FEMA?
ODOT,
ODOT has more power than FEMA.
as relates to the leaving what is there. As to the flooding, somebody will say an act of God, and then
not an
be into the great abyss. I agree with you, but
Act of ODOT.
we can ask, but we are relatively powerless.
So in the meantime, we file a claim, and then from every year then on, our rates are gonna be doubled or tripled if we file a claim. Which doesn't,
No fairness.
well, I think the city of Waterville and our council should actually step in with, and, you know, I've contacted Alicia, I haven't talked to her yet, I called her today, Alicia Salverio, who is the plan manager for state of Ohio, FEMA. I haven't got a call back from her yet because I just called her today. It's gonna back up, it's gonna flood. Here's, may I give you these?
Yeah.
Here's some pictures from 1913. That's my house. Okay? And that's River Road. That is a different circumstance, of course, because of the heavy rain and the whole state of Ohio flooded. But also in 1879, the river flooded because of an ice dam. Also in 1904, the river flooded because of an ice dam. And has council even contacted FEMA? I know you're saying ODOT has more power than FEMA, but something should be done. And if we gotta come in next March after the floods and say, hey, we've talked to you, we've got all this damage, why hasn't council even considered this? Because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people, concerned citizens concerned on this dam right here tonight that live on the riverside of River Road. And it is a major concern. It's not something to say, oh, act of God or whatever. It's something we're really concerned about. And everybody else on River Road, some couldn't be here, but I could get a signature from every single person on River Road if I need to.
We appreciate you coming in, and I'll have the administrator when he gets back in, I think tomorrow, but I will have them call ODOT and see if we can get a meeting to ask them, you know, what they think about what you're telling us. And I don't know how much they've had that dam for a while, but I don't know how big it was last season. And all the piers were not
over
in.
the winter.
Yeah. So it's a great question. We will ask them and see what they tell us, and then we can get back and let you know. I have your information. We can let you know what we find out. I agree with you. No, we don't want any flooding if we can prevent it.
Right.
So it may have something to do with their engineering, but we'll hear what they say, and then we can relay it back to you and
Well, they don't know
bring it up next.
if it is shallow unless it floods and then it
Exactly. It's a tough river, yeah.
back up can cause all up and down River Road.
Right. We know, especially look at side cut and all the damage that's been done with the ice,
Side
right?
cut, down there, the ice dam was up.
Twice. Yeah,
Expressway.
right.
And
We'll see if they can do anything though, because maybe they can alleviate some of it, right? So,
right.
and Mr. Blair's has update meetings with them as well. So maybe you can help us on the best person to ask about that. I can get a hold of the ODOT director.
Take a look at those pictures of your house. that you live in.
Ken used to live there.
I know the causeway was put in late winter. I know it wasn't there at the worst part of the winter, but it was late winter. It all depends on the weather, what happens, temperatures, the amount of rainfall we get, the melting. It's all going to come into play. Now, John Goshenauer and I have a progress meeting on 23rd.
Oh, next week? Yeah.
So that's something we can bring up at the meeting and discuss it with Mr. Kelsey and a
I
couple.
might have him call tomorrow or you and just give him a heads up that you
Yeah,
want
oh,
to discuss it.
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely will.
Okay.
So,
Yes.
yeah.
We can ask them, yeah. We'll ask them. But hopefully they could find a resolution to the concerns, I would hope. So
I will see what we can do.
it's tricky with all the piers in there, as you know. Like the whole reason they build it, I learned all of that, and that's very interesting why they do that, but some of it's constrained. Yeah. And, right. Part of the concern, the piers are offset. I'm not an engineer, but correct me if I'm wrong, but it's kind of tricky, and we were worried last year because it creates the rapids going through there, and then they won't all be there eventually, but right now they're offset, yeah. I haven't looked at that.
That's
but yeah.
correct, the facial panels. I see they got one set now. I think that's the only one they got set. It's the weight of them is causing the problem.
Yep.
The other thing while I'm up here on the bridge, I might as well finish it up.
Yeah.
I don't know if you all have heard, but the opening of the bridge has been extended to 2020 spring. I don't know that the bridge will be totally complete at that time. I doubt it. They'll have some deck work they'll have to finish up in that, but a lot of that they can do while traffic's going across the bridge, so that's the last,
So it's not gonna open in December for traffic like we had originally?
that's not what they were saying.
Okay, so now it will be.
Yeah, the updates I get from ODOT District 2, it said that extended it as far as the long weekend delay or closure of the bridge wouldn't be until spring of 2020. So.
All right, well, we'll get a hold of them tomorrow, and then you can get an update. Talk with them Wednesday.
Talk to Dan.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Wilhelm. We'll get back to you, too, to let you know what we find out.
Well, just if I can I
Yeah,
comment on that
sure.
real quick?
Pictures?
That way.
Being the property that's probably most affected, because we're actually on a severe repetitive flood loss list with FEMA, one of 12,000 properties in the United States. We know it floods, obviously, we bought the house, we know rivers are dynamic, and it goes up and it goes down. But anytime that somebody builds in a floodplain and fills in the land, it affects everybody upstream. Anytime you put an obstruction in the river, it affects everybody upstream. So that's the big concern. And so, yeah, so maybe, does FEMA grant us a waiver for this year in the event that we do flood? Because of the obstructions in the river? So some kind of compromise, if you will, right? That's kind of what we're looking for, I would imagine, right? The bridge has to be completed. We know that. We're reasonable people. It's come this far. Do they tear it out and put it back in the summer and finish it in the summer when the river's typically lower? We know it floods in the spring, and winter it freezes, and you have the ice chunks. Right, you have all these variables. We don't know, like Kenny said. It's all weather-driven. But now we're impacted because we have this huge obstruction in the river, and it will affect everybody upstream. In the low-lying areas specifically, yeah.
Yeah, at the microphone, since we record it.
Yes, that's still, it just really gets me that ODOT has more power than FEMA, the federal government. And the fact that we can't put dirt in our backyard if it doesn't comply with FEMA, but yet ODOT can build a dam across a river that affects everybody upstream. That really does not. I can't comprehend that.
Right. We are agreeing with you, most of us, I'm sure, because ODOT gets to decide also who gets a bridge and when they get it. They don't really say, would you like a new bridge? So they're in charge of all the bridges, so yes. We'll definitely take your concerns, though, and give them a call tomorrow for sure. Get a discussion going. I had one other comment from Richard Heggie. I hope I said that right. If not, I apologize. Yeah, and if you don't mind stating your name and address so they can hear it on the record.
Hagee, and I live at 35 South River Road here in Waterville. And my question is less important than Merle, but I'm concerned with the lighting on the bridge. If you go up to the roundabout, the light is extremely bright. And if they put the same type of lighting on the bridge, it will destroy night for us on the river. And I would like to ask ODOT, this may not be, this probably isn't the correct venue, but I think we should ask ODOT to limit the lighting on the bridge to what's necessary, so not to destroy nighttime the homes along the river.
I actually brought that up to the ODOT director, District 2 in Bowling Green. I saw him at a meeting, and when they opened the roundabout, I was really amazed. It's almost too bright to drive through, and I explained to him, and he said, seriously? And I said, please drive it. I said, it's the new type of lighting they use, and I get it. But I said, that's way too many lights, and I said, please tell me on the bridge, if you do that, that will be so lit up, so they're aware of it. And so we'll keep talking to them, make sure they understand.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I agree with you on the roundabout, so that's not in our jurisdiction, but it is the roundabout. But, yeah. Do I have any other public comments?
Mayor,
Yes.
we have one student.
Oh, yes, yes. She tried to
dying.
hide back behind the.
Trying to hide.
Would you mind coming up and telling us who you are at the podium? Give us your name, something about yourself.
Rank, no.
Wait, we do have some seats over here. Yeah. No, this puts you on our, YouTube.
Oh,
Yeah. They'll know you were here.
hi, I'm Keely. I go to Notre Dame Academy in Toledo, and I'm here because you have to take a government class so that you can graduate, and as part of that government class, you have to do a certain number of hours. So coming to meetings like this, like you before your hours requirement, it's 10 hours, so there's a few meetings.
So what was your name?
Keelan Wicklet, ma'am.
Where do you live?
I live in Maumee, sir.
So we've had several Notre Dame students over the last couple of years. This must be a cool council meeting to come to, because why wouldn't you go to Maumee's?
I do as well, but so normally the meetings that I've gone to previously have run for about an hour. So I try and go to different meetings because you have to fill out the same general form with the same questions. So I figure different meetings, it's fairly close to my house. Might as well get a little variety in there.
Good.
Well, thanks for coming. Let us know if you have any questions.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
She is a Hillsdale Chargers supporter,
Oh, wow.
kudos.
That makes our solicitor very happy.
Very happy.
Any other comments? All right. We do not have an administrator report. He's gone this evening, our law director
No report tonight, Your Honor.
and our finance director. Good evening.
In the finance report, you can see that our fund balance is increasing again. And so I know that's something we always like to look at. Also, the income tax revenues have increased even more this year, so that's doing very well. We've had a couple of CDs that matured that are, I know, working toward keeping those in a ladder of separating maturity dates. The capital budget and the operating budget are underway. We're working hard on those and trying to get those and that's all I really have right now.
That's a good report. Do we have any questions for our finance director? All right, thank you very much.
Thanks, Mark.
I'm going to back up to the administrator report. We did have a copy in our packet, and did anybody have any comments on that this evening we want to take back to Mr. Gokenauer, or I will tell you to give him a call? I don't know if there's anything on there you saw you wanted to discuss. All right. Next, we have our treasurer. Thank you. Next, we have our police chief, Chief Alvano.
Evening, Mayor and Council. A few things to add. We've had 5 officers take the test last Saturday. I should say 5 officers passed. 7 took the test. Our next step is to present it to civil service, the committee, get their blessing on that. Last Thursday, we had bike to school with our bike officers. around 100 students participate. It was a great turnout. I think we're going to do that annually. Boo to Do, I believe it's on October 24th. We will have a tent set up, passing out candy. Our officers will be there. And we ordered 200 glow sticks, the ones that you snap. You put them on the young kids, so parents can keep track of them if they're out in the traffic. And Halloween night, we will have our bicycle officers out and motorcycle.
Thank you. Any questions for the chief? Yes.
I understand they're going to close down Farnsworth
From I think it was from 3rd Street.
Street to River
Yes.
on the 24th from 5 to 7 p.m. I think we should get that in the record. People will want to know that. That's kind of rush hour. We don't really have a rush hour, I know, but the rush hour that we do have, that's our rush hour. So they're going to have to go around. They'll have to take 64 and avoid Farnsworth,
Yep.
just for those 2 hours.
So it does get busy down there. Traffic.
Yep. Great. Perfect. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Was the bike to school all of Waterville? Do we have?
Primary
Good.
school.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
The principal sent out a letter, maybe a week or two beforehand.
Mhm.
And we thought we were lucky to get 20 kids. And we had 20
Wow.
parents joined in, so it was a very good turnout.
Yeah, that's terrific. Very nice.
Joe, those are the kinds of things that I think build that continue to build trust and relationships, so kudos to your team for putting that on, so.
One quick question. I know we had some loose horses in town Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
What became of that?
I think we did what we could. I don't think we have too many horsemen. I think they acted the part when they got out of the car, but after seeing the size of them, they
I would too.
But we got them back to their owners
Yeah.
successfully, and, yeah.
everything worked out.
Good to hear. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have our fire chief.
Good evening. You have a copy of our report. Just a few things extra to add. We also are continuing the hiring process. I'm working with Mr. Gokenauer. There's more steps in the process. It's all took the agility test, and we will get with civil service and go from there.
How many did we have again?
We had
Candidates?
3 take the test.
3. Okay.
We've had a couple of events. Roche de Boeuf was a big event. We're still getting a lot of compliments on that. We had an open house last week at the fire department, very well attended. We had about 150, almost 200 people stop in. We had a lot of events for the kids and picture stations and stuff. We are working to work with the police and do the Boo to Do downtown. We're working on trying to get some candy. Unfortunately, I don't have those sticks. Thanks for one of them. But we're going to try to be down there with them and share their tents and get out there for that. We also participated in the bike event. Being that we're big and red, we make a great roadblock for the rear so that people can't get smacked from the rear side. So we did real well with that. And we also got invited to a Kroger event for Halloween, which I'm going to try again to work with Chief Galvano. We might be able to get a couple people up there at Kroger for their event also. So
When is their event?
I'd have to look at myself.
Oh, okay. It's
It's the 24th, I think.
yeah. Do you know when they have it? No.
24th.
It's probably a different day than ours, I'm guessing. Yeah, not a big deal, just was curious. I've seen it before going. Yeah,
We
okay.
just got an invite for it today, so we're going to work on getting some people to head to that. So.
All right. At Roche de Boeuf, was there was somebody driving around a fire department, but it wasn't ours. Like in a, I don't know what it was, not a golf cart, but no? Yeah, the stretcher people.
Didn't use that from Sylvania? Wasn't that borrowed? That
Yeah,
Who
we
was that?
We borrowed 2 EMS carts. We don't have one, and getting a squad around at that event, we
So it was you guys on it, but it had somebody else's name. Okay, I did double take.
Sylvania Township was generous to offer up theirs.
Right.
And Springfield Township was generous enough to offer up theirs. So we had 2, one at each side of the city, and it proved well. We had, I think, 4 runs that day, and 3 of them were transports. So instead of trying to drive that big ambulance through crowds of people, we maneuvered a golf cart size and held our stretchers.
I did see it, and I thought they were helping out, so good to know. Hey, and it's good to ask Sylvania Township. I mean, they're a very large township, but like 40,000 plus people, so they are able to have all those things. And if you only get, you know what I'm saying, that's nice.
They were fortunate enough to
Yeah.
get theirs from Firehouse Subs. So Firehouse Subs don't
Yeah. It's one of the grants that we talked about. But yeah, they're very good. I've dealt with them on a couple other things, and they're a very nice department. So.
Oh, yeah, I mean, they were very generous to offer up, and theirs
Yeah.
comes with a trailer, too, so. Springfield Townships is more of, it holds the cot, but
Right.
they actually spent the money and bought a dual purpose. So theirs is for off-road to cover arcs and different things, so theirs has a winch and off-road tires, and it actually.
Yeah, they have a lot of rural area. Okay, I just noticed them, and I was like, wait, why? They're pretty far from Sylvania. Yeah.
Yeah, it was our people.
All right. All right. All right. And Chief, I must apologize, the open house, I'll have to tell the administrator to send us reminders. I wasn't at the last meeting, but I wrote it probably on my month ago one, and then got home from being out of town Monday night. And Tuesday I was driving, and I was like, wow, how did they get that many people at training? What is going on? I missed it, but I was out of town for 4 or 5 days, so send my apologies. I felt really bad when I realized it was going on, so we would have been there. We're pretty slow, though, so you might have to send the day before reminder. Just have Mr. Gokenauer. So usually if I drive by, I see it if you put it on the sign, but yeah, I felt bad about that, so send my apologies to him. Any questions for the?
just a comment. I think going
Your
back to what I
comment?
mentioned to Chief of Police, but it's neat to have those community events, and especially with the kids and the open house. I was out of town. I think I mentioned that as well. But I think the momentum is upon us. So I just like that concept. So thank you.
I also missed the memo on the open house, so sorry, Mayor, but
I think you announced it last month, because I
Yeah.
always write that stuff on my agenda, but I missed the next one out of town and then out of town again, so.
So I'm coming to the open house. I'm coming to the fire station tomorrow night, though.
Yeah, what kind of
Alright.
training are you having tomorrow?
Tomorrow night is EMS, so it'll be Heidi Hess will be teaching EMS CE. So it'll be all classroom and like more out-on-grid, I guess, if you will.
Okay.
I also just want to thank the chief for, at Roche de Boeuf, inspecting all the food vendors. It's important to keep everybody healthy, so thanks, Doug, for doing that.
Any other questions? All right, thank you. Next, we have Mr. Blair, Public Works.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. You have a copy of my report. I really only have a few things tonight regarding the project. Went through the bridge project already. The downtown lighting project, that should be starting about by the end of the month, I'll say. I don't know that we received the lights or the poles yet, but they're en route, I guess. So hopefully they got everything staked out and ready to start when we get the poles and fixtures. So 2019 paving program, that's been completed. With the exception that we have to have a contractor come back and make a repair on one of the streets. I think it was Cara Street. ADA door opening. We had a little bit of problem with this one tonight. Get people in here, but we'll get that fixed. That should be completed by the end of the month as well. Pavement markings, crosswalks, that's been completed. We're gearing up for leaf collection. That's really a morale builder during the fall. But we're just tough one, but, yeah, we got just about everything ready for that. It looks like the leaves are gonna fall a little bit late this year, so I'll probably be collecting them in the snow. You have information I gave you on the fishing derby. We had about 60 participants, a lot of sponsors, a lot of volunteers. I want to thank the Waterville Rotary Foundation for all their help, all the sponsors. Without them, we couldn't do it, obviously, and all the volunteers. It was a beautiful day. People had a really good time. And also, there's a list of the winners in there as well. So, yeah, it's something for the kids, and I think at times we need to focus on that because it makes us look good as far as the city. That's all I got, unless you have anything.
I have a question on, this might have been in your older stuff at the beginning. Met with the administrator, discussed repairs for the well pump at White House Cemetery off Cemetery Road. Are we doing that, or is that because it's with the cemetery?
I'm taking care of handling it, but the cemetery district will pay for the repairs. So we won't, they'll take care of the cost of it.
I was going to ask for an update, but our representative's out this evening, and
It appears to be just a pump,
yeah,
so it shouldn't be too bad.
okay.
No.
So you're just coordinating it, but,
Correct.
all righty. Any other
Mayor?
questions?
Just a little, we got to get through Halloween and Thanksgiving, but has there been any conversation, probably with the organization that's going to do the decorating for the holiday downtown? Any updates or anything we should know about now?
No, we have all the lighting and everything we need to it'll mirror pretty much last year, but I'd like to add some additional lights. I want to come up with a little bit of different theme on 3rd Street. So I got to get that together pretty soon, but I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet.
Did we have any volunteers last year, or did we start doing it last year?
Anyone, I'm sorry?
Did we have anybody do the planners and stuff last year, or did you do all of it last year? I can't remember.
We did the majority of it. The Historical Society helped on some.
On the street.
Some of the,
Okay.
bulbs they hung, things like that. But all the lighting we did, and I think the wreaths and, some other things, planters and that type of thing.
Okay. Probably be good to have some volunteers. Yeah.
Yes, helps out a lot.
Are you getting as many calls on Republic Services as Melissa gets?
They seem, not as many, no.
As many?
They seem,
There's a few, a few blocks apparently
only
aren't on
one
their
lately.
map, I guess.
they did a lot better, I will say, on the collection 2 weeks ago, unlimited. We only had 3 complaints, I think, something like that.
Just my
That's-
neighbors.
that's what I
Those
was
are my
thinking.
neighbors.
Yeah.
So, they're getting better, but I'm not sure they're quite there yet, but they're doing better.
Well, I was going to comment about them today. I babysit at 7:15 in the morning every day, and this morning I was driving through McDonald's getting my morning coffee, and they were waiting to start. And it's great because they don't start before 7 a.m. Now, they start at 7 a.m., but the trucks are waiting to start until, and, I drove through town, actually, John, past your house, last night at about 5 o'clock, and a lot of people had already put their trash out, and we had some wind yesterday, and it was blowing up in the neighbors' yards. When I went by today, everything was picked up, all the boxes out of the street that I saw yesterday. I mean, it looked like they did a really good job today. So I think they are trying to get better,
Yeah, they're doing much better.
so. Yep, good.
Except for Village Parkway.
We normally do it at the beginning of the meeting.
Well,
but we normally do all the
maybe there's a
comments at
reason
the
for it.
beginning.
Getting a little complex here.
Merle, you want to say something?
Yeah, do we, yeah.
Right. Replacing the existing, The actual or the pole, the thing, they should mirror pretty close what existing is. They're not going to be as tall as the bridge. or the downtown area. in the short- Yeah, where you have the stakes, that's where, we brought the streetlight back, it's in right of way, but it's behind the, no, it's gonna be in front of the sidewalk. Gotta put it back in the right of way, somehow it got on the property, and we wanna get it back in the right of way. So the stakes indicate that location. No, there's one.
Any other?
And talking about that lighting, so I know you talked with Jenny Dean, that
Did.
some of the neighbors are concerned about the illumination,
Yes.
how bright it's gonna be. Maybe you can just brief council on what you.
Well, number one, we lowered the wattage on these. These are LEDs, but we lowered the wattage on them. Also, they have a residential side where you can it'll dim the residential side of the light. And if it's not enough, sometimes we put a fog on it, like a brownish, light brownish fog, so it kind of restricts the light. So don't shine directly in the house with this restrictor. It more or less shines it down, and that's not as far out as some of the other lights on the street side.
And then, can you go into a little bit more detail about what's the problem's been with the bridge? Because I hadn't heard about that until I was
Talking about the weight issue?
Yeah, Mikey Hill was talking to Miller Brothers coordinator over there.
I don't know all the problems. I know we have a little bit of an issue with some of the bridge street lights, but that isn't causing the delay. I know the brackets for the facial walls, they had to come up with a different bracket because it wouldn't sustain the weight of the plate, if you will. And they must have remedied that because I don't know if you've seen the one that they have up there now on the south side. They have one on each side? Okay, maybe they have two then, but I guess they'd let it sit for a while to see if it's going to hold or not, but you know, that's the biggie. That's the biggie. And there was a little bit of problem with the observation area, but I didn't go elaborate on that. We'll find out more about all this on the 23rd. So
The next update meeting.
we'll have a lot more information at our next meeting.
How often do you have those? Do you have them monthly or every 2 weeks? How often do you meet ODOT for the update?
Now we're meeting once a month.
Once
We're
a month?
meeting every 2 weeks.
Okay.
No.
Any other questions? Nope. All right, communication from council, Mr. Bruno.
Yes, Mayor. First, I'd like to say Roach to Buff was great this year. The turnout was nice, and it was fun walking in the parade again. I did have one safety concern. So it was about 3 weeks ago. I was heading down Waterville, Monclova, probably around 10 o'clock, and I had passed a car very closely. It was by like where Greenlock storage is, kind of underneath the bridge, underneath 24. And I had noticed there was a Waterville Township police car with no lights on. And I just thought it was a safety concern because if someone would have pulled over and ran right into them, that's kind of what came to my mind. So just wanted to put that out there that, Waterville Township should maybe just give a friendly reminder to, leave lights on when parked.
It was Waterville Township, that's their area, yeah. Do you have to have your lights on? Yeah, and tell them. I've heard this before, so I'm not sure the legality.
Grange did send out a email that he wanted all lights on. I should say parking lights.
Right.
Yeah.
Marker lights, so that we can be seen in Waterville.
Right.
We don't really control the township. We can suggest it.
Okay.
And I think the State Highway Patrol has the same policy, marker lights on. We don't want to be known as a speed trap or anything like that, but just being seen out there,
Right. Well, I just figured someone could hit the car, so I just thought,
I agree with you.
but that just came to my mind in terms of safety.
I can pass it on. Send
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anything else? Mrs. Bruno?
No report this evening, Mayor.
Mr. Rosick?
No report, Your Honor.
Mr. Pedro?
I've already spoken. No report.
Thank you. Mrs. Duncan?
I have a report.
All right.
I know, it's shocking. A couple of things. I thought Roast Bouffe was great. I bought some tickets for Buck-a-Duck from the Rotary, and I won.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, you never hear about the people that win, right? And they always say, I don't know, I buy a duck every year. I never hear anything. I won $250,
Rita income tax.
which I
will be
donated
calling you.
back, by the way. So I just wanted to let people know that there really is winners, okay? Second of all, the coyotes are back. They've been spotted. More people have cameras on their driveways. I mean, I have them in my yard. I have a camera out there, and I know that. But they've been up by the school, by the primary school in the past few days. Got cold. They're roaming around, and people are seeing them on their cameras. So be warned. Keep an eye on your pets. They're here. They're back. And this is usually the time when they're roaming around a little bit, so. Also, I know we talked about the Boo to Do, but also there is Spooktacular, which is down on 114 South River, where the houses are for the Waterville Historical Society. They also have an event. So it won't just be the kids crossing at 3rd Street for the businesses. It will also be down on the alley between the church and to go down there to get treats. So, which is, I think it's great that they're closing Farnsworth this year. Last year it was tough. I think Scott was the traffic control, and I would rather have the streets closed off than have that happen. So that's all I have.
It's dark early now.
Yep.
Just a thank you to Roach to Booth, to all the departments. I think every single department had to help. I don't know about finance if you had to help yet. But that's next year. But I appreciate it because it takes a lot of extra people. So I didn't hear of anything happening. It was a fun day. It was a nice day. So good job on that, and the chamber. So hopefully the chamber knows we appreciate it. All right, we're going to move on to old business. We have ordinance 08-19. An ordinance amending municipal zoning map of the city of Waterville to change the zoning classification of a certain 43-acre parcel of land, part of parcel number 9625959 and parcel number 9625961, located at 6730 and 6824 Anthony Wayne Trail, from A1 Agricultural District to M1 Industrial District. We've had the first, second, and the third reading and a public hearing. And we tabled it, and the last meeting, I was out of town for work, but it was tabled again. But there's one issue in the minutes, when we typed those up, it was tabled for December 2nd, and I think we meant to say December 9th, which is our meeting, the second Monday, but someone said that, and I believe people were here discussing that issue when I was gone, the neighbors and people. So council needs to decide, do you want to have a special meeting because that's the date that people heard? Or do you want to have it on the regular meeting?
I think it was an error. I think
It was an error, but what I guess I'm saying is people are coming back that day. So if you want to have a special meeting, we can. We just publish it ahead of time. Pardon?
We just need to publish it.
So am I consensus to have a special meeting?
No.
Okay.
I
Well, we'll
think-
put it out there, but I wanted you guys to be aware that you tabled it, or kept it tabled, and now there's a mix-up in the date. So hopefully the mayor might, if we're changing it to our regular meeting, the 9th, we could get that out there. But I guess if people show up, here's an idea. They won't be happy, but we could also have a notice out on the door that the meeting is the 9th. But that's the date they walked away with, so.
Do we need a motion to change the table date, council?
Yeah, it is in there. Someone want to make a motion? And then
Make a motion
spread
to
the word.
Change the date from December 2nd and to table it until December 9th, which is our next city council meeting. Or not our next one, but the closest one.
Second.
All right, any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And before I move on, it's tabled. Any discussion, though? All right. New business, Resolution 28-19, a resolution authorizing the municipal administrator to file an application and enter into an agreement with the Ohio Public Works Commission for the Anthony Wayne Trail Intersections Improvement Project. We've talked about this a little bit. It is a resolution that would authorize the submission of an application for financial assistance from the Ohio Public Works Commission for improvements at the intersection of Anthony Wayne Trail and Farnsworth Road and Anthony Wayne Trail and Mechanic Street. The project involves adding a southbound right turn lane on the Anthony Wayne Trail at Farnsworth Road and adding a westbound right turn lane on Mechanic Street at Anthony Wayne Trail. These improvements will improve traffic capacity and safety at these intersections. The traffic signal mast arms at Farnsworth and Mechanic would also be replaced to match the Waterville-style arms found at the other locations in the city. Also included is the addition of a 10-foot wide shared use path on the west side of Anthony Wayne Trail. The application is for a grant and/or a loan for 50% of the cost of the city's estimated $193,000 share of the project's $725,000 total cost. The remaining $532,000 cost of the project would be offset by a congestion mitigation and air quality grant filed in July of 2019. If the applications for financial assistance are successful, construction on the improvement project would begin in 2021. And I apologize, the administrator's not here to explain all of that, but I know we talked about this before. I believe the congestion mitigation air quality, we scored really high through TMACOG where they do that funding and everything. So any questions this evening on that? This is just for the application to apply for it, which means we may not get it, and it also means I think we can make a decision after they decide. We still have a chance, yeah.
I guess I'd like to know, do we have a congestion problem at these intersections? I mean, now that we have the bypass, it certainly seems like, I mean, I really don't see major, I mean, if they do this, it would really cut into Prairie Park. Do we have a congestion problem? Yeah, but we're talking the Anthony Wayne Trail.
That's what he's talking about.
Well, it would, this would change that intersection.
Would the one at the trail and Farnsworth, it's a right turn lane, correct? So would that take a lot of right-of-way out of where Prairie Park is sitting? We'd have to redo the sidewalk, the whole thing?
Move the marquee.
Oh, I hope we wouldn't have to move the marquee. That was a big deal, putting that there, yeah.
Then we'd have designated right turn on Arrow for the, we sort of already have a,
Yeah, I'm not worried so much about the money as need first. I mean, this is where I live, so I drive this section of town all the time, more than uptown. Not so much down the hill, there's not gonna be more residences down the hill as up the hill. But I thought, we had talked at length about the improvements at Canal Village Parkway and Canal, at the Anthony Wayne Trail, improving that intersection, getting a left turn lane in there. But that doesn't include this. This is not part of that.
This is just down.
The biggest part are the right turn lanes financially, if I look at this. So the right turn onto the trail off of Mechanic, you'd have to buy right away from the gas station that's not in business anymore. Do you remember if that's in there? There's room. There's room in the road. You would just make them, okay.
Can we get copies of that field review?
So,
And like, of course, this is just an application.
this is an
Doesn't mean
application.
that we're
Right.
approving it.
Right.
We submitted this before, the same project. Well, maybe you've added, but it's when Jim was here. My concern sort of with Mrs. Bruno's, $725,000 is a lot of money for 2 right turn lanes. So, whether it's federal, state, or local, but that's my opinion. That's a lot of money. Yeah. Well, that's a
But it's
lot of
only
money,
going up.
though, to make sure you have a need for it.
Well, that's, I would
Yeah.
ask the chief, do we have problems? I remember, before the bypass.
We had a lot of
we had
traffic.
some major, horrible fatal accidents going through right in town. But since then, I don't know, when I go through there, at rush hour, like Ms. Duncan said, coming over the bridge and getting on the Anthony Wayne Trail, sure. But everybody understands there's gonna be a backup, but the roundabout has helped alleviate that.
Somewhat.
To be, even if it's 20% of that ticket, to get an improved, I don't know if we're really, I don't know that we have a problem, I guess is what I'm saying. I don't know that we have a problem. Chief, do you see a lot of congestion, other than just what's coming over the bridge and?
I don't drive it every day, but I do come over at different times like that, and seriously, but I've only lived here 21 years. I haven't waited that many times. I think the only few times in that time I went, wow, that is a really long line of cars. But again, I don't do it every single day, but.
5:30.
And once the bypass opened by where I live on the side of town, I will come down to any other time of day. Seriously, this is so weird after you live here when 24 was active, and you pull up and there is not a single car while you wait at the light the whole time. And if you lived here before, that was a constant traffic area with trucks. So you got to remember that's what we're thinking about too. I mean, that is a lot of money for not a really busy.
I think the only consideration with that could be, with it being considered in 2024, when you think of the development that's coming off of Prairie Boulevard, you have 300-unit apartment complex, more complexes coming up.
Right.
I see at least 13 foundations that have already been dug across, away from us. I just look at it as, right now it might not be an issue, but you have, another 1,000 residents, the ability to move in.
Right.
Then it could be,
Our side of town, though, they generally get on the bypass.
unless they worked in Perrysburg.
Right. Which isn't as big a number as who hops on the bypass. From where we live. I'm just saying from living over there. That's the pattern flow I see, but
Maybe like,
why they built it. So we
Right,
wouldn't
right,
go through
no,
town.
sure.
So,
That's
I
when
agree,
see
but
it.
my husband works.
That's when I'm coming
It
home.
takes 24.
By 7:15 in the morning, it's done at 5:30.
Yeah.
It backs up at 5:30,
It does.
I
I
mean,
don't know.
maybe Barb, like you mentioned, if we apply for it and
see what
it's
happens.
4 or 5
Yeah.
years away, I guess,
Well, once
can-
you'll find out sooner.
Sooner,
if you
yeah.
Decide to accept it, but
Yeah.
it's an application, so I say
Right.
good discussion. But then we need to take a vote on it.
sure.
If someone would like to make a motion,
I'll make a motion.
Second?
any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Next, we have Resolution 29-19, a resolution authorizing the municipal administrator to execute a contract and a memorandum of understanding with the Lucas County Sheriff's Office authorizing participation in the Lucas County OVI Task Force. And this is something that we do every year, and it authorizes an agreement with the Lucas County Sheriff's Office to participate in the OVI Task Force. The city's been participating in it for several years. It used to be known as DUI Task Force. And in Waterville area, it focuses on the Anthony Wayne Trail and State Route 64. So we would need a motion.
I'll move to approve.
Second?
Does anybody have any questions about this? Like
Just
I said, it's
a
a
question or
annual.
a comment. The Chief,
Right.
can you elaborate on some of the history on this particular operation and
Thank you. I was going to say,
what-
go to the microphone so everybody can hear you.
This county has a grant, traffic grant, and it's to fight drunk drivers. And they asked if we could give a couple officers to help participate so they don't, sometimes 30 or 40 officers are needed. They run two different checkpoints, as they call it, in Lucas County. I believe we've been participating for at least 6 or 7 years, if I can remember. The reimbursements come on time fairly quick. They are up. It's one thing that we like to do. I guess it's the sharing the responsibility. Lucas County's nice enough to run the operation. We throw a couple guys their way that have experience in detecting drunk drivers and checkpoints.
so there's some benefit, like training benefits, plus you're reimbursed for your time?
Yes.
Okay.
The grant reimburse our officers pay. And if we ever have any problems here, they can come into town with the task force and set it up at Anthony Trail and Dutch, 64.
Okay.
A couple hours, and then they move on.
Are these the announced checkpoints, or are they? Yeah,
State law, you have to announce them.
yeah.
All right, we have a motion, a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Next, we have Resolution 30-19, a resolution authorizing the municipal administrator to enter into an agreement with Mark Ryan Farms of Monclova, Ohio, for the lease of agricultural land owned by the municipality located at 6730 and 6824 Anthony Wayne Trail. And this is the farmland that we have been leasing. We have been doing it since we were a village, so it's been a while. We have been contracting that since it was purchased in 2000. A bid was held October 4th, 2019, and the city received 4 bids. Its recommendation of the administration is to enter into a lease agreement with the best and most responsive bids submitted by Mark Ryan Farms of Monclova, Ohio. And a tabulation of the bids received and a copy of the proposed leases are enclosed.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All right. Is there any questions or discussion before we take a vote on the motion? And this was a little bit higher than previous years, the $291.50 per acre. And the lease was essentially the same as what we've had in the past. All right.
So if we get a buyer for that ground, we can terminate the lease, I think?
Well, you can terminate the lease. Normally, there's a provision relating to the crops
To the
that are
crops.
lost.
Great. Yep. All right, we've got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Resolution 31-19 is a resolution authorizing the municipal administrator to execute a memorandum of understanding with the cities of Maumee, Perrysburg, and the townships of Monclova and Perrysburg in regard to water rescues on the Maumee River. And this is in regard to the adoption of automatic response plan guidelines to improve emergency responses to water rescues on the Maumee River. The memo of understanding was reviewed by our law director and the fire chief. Will be present to answer our questions. A copy was enclosed for everybody with the resolution, so I don't know. Do we have any questions that we need to call Chief Meyer back up? Everybody understood it? All right. So this set, as the way I understand it, it sets some boundaries. Yeah, come on up. And, because I asked a couple questions when the administrator and I discussed the agenda, just outlines a little better our water rescue than what we had in the past with the people on the river close by us, so.
Sure, so the point behind this was that with the rapids that we have them at the interurban bridge between there and the current Waterville bridge. So what usually happens, we've seen the trend is that they either have problems between the interurban and the current bridge and the speed of the current by the time we can get to where we can pass the current bridge. At that point, we started to go downriver, and after the bridge, there is very limited access to anything between there and 475 if someone is struggling to get downriver. So in the past, we have automatically started just asking for Maumee, and then we started asking for Perrysburg, and then we started asking for Perrysburg Township because of their jet ski, and we tried to get in the river wherever possible, asking landowners to offer up their property, doing whatever it takes to try to get to these people. In doing that 2 and 3 times, you run into command issues and different things where we're not really sure because we don't do it that often. So we're trying to set some guidelines. We're trying to also get an automatic response so that we don't have to show up and then wait 3 minutes to realize, oh gosh, they're past us, and now we got to call Maumee and wait another few minutes, and Maumee gets there, and oh, well, we can't get in where they're at, call Perrysburg. So now you're delaying everything in the process. The point of having this is to allow everyone to go at the same time, getting as many resources quickly to the incident to help stabilize it, and if nothing else, to keep them from continuing to go downriver. The last time we had a couple of kayakers go down, Maumee's jet ski and Perrysburg Township's jet ski made it to the kayakers and held them until our boat got there. Our boat made the rescue, but the jet skis were able to get quickly because they could deploy quicker to the location. Our boat had to launch from the school, make it through the rapids underneath the bridge without hitting the abutments. Once it got around there, it then had shallow water to contend with, and finally made it down to people. In the process, the jet skis were able to keep the people from floating further downriver and give them something to hold on to help stabilize the incident. So the idea behind this is just to really get the resources coming quickly.
Good. Any questions? All right, thank you. Did we get our motion in second? Need a motion?
So moved.
Barb will be second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next, we have other information and unscheduled business. Does anyone have any? I have one thing. All right, so last meeting, Matt Hireman, the Director of Public Safety with the Lucas County Commissioner's Office, gave you a presentation about the 911 consolidation and asked for a resolution to appoint a representative for the meeting that they will be having in November. Since then, I believe, I don't think it was before then, Sylvania Township, who gets their own vote because they are the largest township in Lucas County, did vote in favor of consolidation. And I believe Toledo, biggest city, and I believe the county. And there'll be someone representing all of the other cities and villages, which we're in. And there'll be, the townships will have one representative, so it'll be 5 votes. So we still need to pass a resolution, which we don't have tonight. So I guess I bring it up so that we can be ready to do it. Because the next meeting will be the last one, possibly before they do their vote. At this point, it seems interesting because I have 3 yes votes as far as I understand it, out of 5. So, but at the same point, we need to come up with one. And I don't think there have been any other meetings. Mayor Carr, who would be the vote against it, the other small cities and villages that have voted no, Maumee's one of those. And then I believe Mayor Atkinson of White House was here, who is voting in favor of it. So one of them would probably represent us. So our job is to pass a resolution. This is a question maybe for Solicitor. I don't know that we have to pass one if we support it or don't, but we have to choose someone to represent us as the voter,
That is correct.
which could be either way. If you
Right, my
oppose it,
understanding is
So I don't know how we
that
word it.
person will be known how they intend to
the no
vote.
or the
So
yes.
you pick the person, you get the vote you pick, basically.
Right.
It's a person.
So I asked council tonight, you've had time to really think about it. We've sent you all the updates, and you got to ask Matt Hireman some questions, starting with Mrs. Duncan. Do you have any comments this evening?
No, I support the consolidation. I would support appointing Mr. Atkinson to represent us.
I agree. I know that Matt came and gave a thorough presentation. I think that there's always going to be some bugs in the system, but I think with technology changing and trying to keep up with it, this is probably the best way to go forward. So I concur that we should move forward with it. And I support Don Atkinson.
And I think our chiefs both concur that we need to get them supportive of the consolidation, so, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I totally agree. We got full support, 100% full support from the fire chiefs, right? And then, yeah, I also support Don Atkinson as our representative.
I also support.
All right, Mr. Fry isn't here this evening. So I think what I'll do is have a resolution prepared, and we'll bring something to the next meeting. Then everybody will have a chance to vote, final vote, so. Great. All right, it's been a long process, so thank you for reading all the updates, for updated versions. Appreciate it. Any other information? If not, take a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're done. I was trying to do his notes and mine.